We're going to click back on the MyGeoTrexpedition tab so we can see Trexpeditions that were created by us. This shows everything that we've created in this system based upon this user, Eric12345. You can go in and view all the GeoTrexpeditions by clicking on the More Info button below. That will bring up detailed information about the Trex. Since we are the owner of this Trex, you'll see that we have the ability to do editing and also to do translations. Let's select now just a more complex Trex like the Kansas City Zoo, for instance. So we're going to go over here, we're going to click on search. Kansas is there because of the search we did last time. We're going to click go, and you're going to see the Kansas City Zoo here. So if I click on more info on this one, you'll see that this is the same one that you could see on your mobile device that has detailed information about the park with all of the different GeoTrex locations, the hot spots or geospots that we call them, of where all the animals are. Clicking on the Advanced tab will show you the advanced settings, like if you look into additional information when you're on a Trex on a mobile device, this is that tab. You have the spots, which are the individual animals themselves around the zoo with their locations and tags. And the map, which just gives you an overview of the entire Trex based on us looking right now at the main Kansas City Zoo Trex itself. Just to give you kind of a little bit of an overview about the idea and concept of what a GeoTrexpedition is, we're going to click back over here, back to the main listing. Okay, imagine like the Kansas City Zoo, for instance, is like a book. This is the cover of your book, so we're naming the book Kansas City Zoo. Okay, when you go inside, this is like the overview of the book. This gives you the details. This would be like your introduction in a normal book, giving you details about the information. The Advanced tab is similar to like in a book would be like a copyright materials or things like that. But this is where you can put in things that are specific to your Trex that you want other people to know about, such as the phone, the website, who's the copyright owner if it's not you. Additional information, we have 8 additional fields that you can fill out that will be displayed on the mobile device for things like when it's open, when it's closed, what the prices are, and things along those lines in the case of a zoo. Or if you're doing a fishing trip, you might say when the gates open, or if you're selling a house, you might say it's 2-bedroom, 3-bath, 400 square feet, 1,200 square feet, whatever the house size is, and giving the price and also information about who the agent might be, for instance. The spots would be like the pages in a book. So in this case, the pages would be the individual animals. Those pages contain information about the animal. Like if we click on the African hunting dog, for instance, here, we'll see that we actually took some of the information from Wikipedia about detailed information about the animal. We also have photos. And if you see down in the right corner down here, you also have an audio file that we attached to it as well. The Quick Access tab within a spot is where you can put in things for unique keys or levels. We support multiple levels on a GeoTrexpedition, so if you're in a building, for instance, that's a 9-story building, that's at the same geo position for every one of the spots. So this allows you to put in a level, and then the application will automatically see that there's multiple levels and allow them to filter by level on the mobile device. The unique key will be in a case of, let's say, a museum, for instance, where underneath a piece of art it might say enter number 805. So you can actually allow people to have keys, and if this is available as well, there will be a label on the mobile device that will be enabled that allows them to enter in the key IDs and filter by key. So if you had an 805 and also an 8 and an 810, if they just typed in an 8, those 3 things would come back as available and they could filter out down to a specific one. Events is something very unique to MyGeoTrex. This allows you to add a certain event to happen and to be notified on the user's mobile device at a certain time and for a certain duration of time. So we click on Add Event, for instance, we might enter in here something that says watch them feed the dogs, and you can say that it's a daily event, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, yearly. You can say what day of the week it is. You can specify like Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, for instance. You can put in a start and stop date so that let's say you're only going to want something to happen during a specific time of year. You can enter those days in here. You can set the duration of time that it happens for, so like 60 minutes. And it happens at, let's say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you could save it. We also have the ability here, like you can see, you have the translate button. Wherever you see a TR, that means that they can translate it into multiple languages. So you create one event with multiple languages. So instead of saying watch them feed the dogs, you can put it in Spanish, where it says watch them feed the dog in Spanish or Japanese or Arabic or whatever you want. You also have the ability, the X button is always to cancel something out, like it says, and the trash can is to delete. This is where you can specify the different languages for those events. So we're going to close this one out right now because we don't want to actually affect like the Kansas City Zoo. So you'll go edit and you can delete it, because by default it will try to store your information for you. Let's go back to the main Trex here, and you'll see this little black area on the bottom is a scroller to where you can scroll across. The style of this is set up to be very similar to Windows 8, so it's the Metro look. This may be looking a little bit different by the time we actually release out in general later in this very early part of summer. But you can see here that you can scroll across to anything. You can also filter. You have all the same filtering capabilities. So if I wanted to type in partial word of elephant and I want to do a search, you can filter that out to only search by those type of things or by keys. You also have, let's see, if we scroll across over here to, let's go scroll across over to the lowland gorilla, for instance. You'll see this is just a deck out here that people can get to. There's not any detailed information. If we wanted information, enter information in here, you can click the edit button. Now I can start typing in here. If I wanted to start typing, you'll see when I start typing that I also have the ability to set a start and end date. This is where I upload audio files and video files as well, and those are language specific, so you could have language specific audio and video files as well. Same quick access events and all those kind of things as well. Clicking the checkbox in all of them does a save, as you would expect. Let's take a look at adding a geospot. To add a geospot, simply click on the word Add Geospot, and it will bring up a new form that allows you to add detailed information about that location on your GeoTrexpedition. You can enter in a short description here. So let's say we wanted to add a polar bear, for instance. Detailed information about the polar bear if you have it. In our case, for like Kansas City Zoo, when that was created, we went out to Wikipedia and pulled a lot of information from Wikipedia and just gave them reference since they are the owners of the content. And you could also upload pictures. So for instance, this little polar bear here is on our local system because we allow you to upload information, whether it be media files, movies, or audio files, or pictures, are all locally located on your computer itself. Those are the only way that it can be uploaded currently. So let's go ahead and select the polar bear. You'll see that it's going to process it and bring it in. So that's available. You can set a start and end date. So let's say that we didn't want this to start right now, but we wanted it to start a month from now, or even let's say 6/1. So we wanted to start on June 1st is when we're going to get the polar bear in at the zoo. And you can put whatever type of end date you want on it. If you have movie and audio files, it's the same thing. You simply click on them. It'll bring up a dialog and allows you to select those movies and audio files from your local system. We can also add in quick access information, which is if that polar bear was located at a specific place in the zoo, you can actually use the level is not just numeric, so it's alphanumeric, meaning that characters can be typed in there. So if you wanted people to be able to filter by a specific zone, like the polar bears in your North America zone or whatever it is, you could do that. Or in the case of a house, if you wanted to say it's in a particular area of a house, you can do that. The unique key commonly would be used in places like a museum, for instance, under a piece of artwork where it might have a number underneath it. Common case in that would be where a museum currently has headsets that they rent out, for instance, where they have a numeric keypad like a cell phone does. Like let's say 805 is what you're standing in front of. You can put that unique key here so the visitors can still get to that as well from here. The events are where you'd add events, like we're going to feed the polar bear at a specific day, specific time, or specific day of the week. Clicking on add event will bring that information up, so you can say how often it happens. If it's a daily thing, what day of the weeks that it's on. Like let's say you only do it Tuesdays and Thursdays that you actually do public feedings, you can put that in there, and when this date starts and ends, as well as the duration of time. You also have the ability to translate. Then obviously you can delete, so let's delete this event because we don't want to put an event in right now. And then a map. Now this is a key thing for a GeoTrexpedition because this is where the GPS location is located, or where this animal is physically located in this park. So in the case of a house, if you wanted to mark specific bedrooms and things, you can get to it from the map view, and if you know how your house looks, you would mark where those rooms are by dragging the pen around. You can see, like for this, for instance, when you add a new one, what will happen is it will put it wherever the main GeoTrexpedition spot is, the outsidemost thing, which is the Kansas City Zoo. So it's putting it at the front doors of the zoo. You can move it by simply just pointing where you want to move it and clicking. See, so now you can see that the green spot is actually that location for the polar bear is at that place. You'll see up in here that the latitude and longitude numbers are there. Those can be manually changed if you wanted to change them. So if I wanted to move it to 53, well, 53 is probably going to put it out too far, so let's just do it a little bit so you can see just a little bit of a change here. So if I say 54 and tab off it, you'll see how the pen moved a little bit. So it does allow you to manually do things this way. What we do when we enter information for our GeoTrexpeditions, if we do them entirely from the web, which there are a few GeoTrexpeditions that were done completely from the web without ever us visiting the locations, such as the Pier 39 Trex, the Zona Rosa, Plaza Mall, all those kind of things where we have hard-coded address. We will go out to Google Maps. We will type in the address, and then if you move your mouse cursor to a specific spot on Google Maps and you right-click, then you'll see a thing that says, "What's this?" If you click that, that will give you the latitude, longitude, and then we just plug those numbers into the latitude, longitude up here. So that's kind of how we add those spots when we're doing things straight from the web. So simply clicking the checkbox will add the polar bear to the Kansas City Zoo. They already have one there. We already have a polar bear spot here, so I'm not going to add it in this case. I'll go ahead and dispose of it. But this shows you how you can do that and how you can set the start and end date times and those kind of things on each one of the GeoTrexpedition spots. In the case of the Kansas City Zoo, you'll see we have lots of spots on this one. This has 187. Like San Francisco Zoo has almost 200. And Kansas City Zoo is going to actually have probably more like 230 by the time that we're done entering all that information in as well. So that's kind of an overview quickly of how to add GeoTrexpeditions and add the geospots onto the system. And the next video we're going to go ahead and show you a little bit more about how to view things and about your GeoCircle friends and things like that.